Next, we'd like to move on to the power system business strategy. The presentation will be given by Mr. Katsumi Nagasawa. My name is Nagasawa of the power systems. I have been appointed to this position anew. Therefore, let me introduce myself. I entered Hitachi as a atomic energy engineer, and I was working in the strategy of power systems. Up until March of this year, I was the general manager of Hitachi Works. I'm very happy to be appointed to this position. Let me start the power system business explanation. Today, I would like to talk about the new power system business after the thermal power generation business has been integrated. Now, these are the contents that I would like to cover. First of all, I would like to talk about the business overview and performance trends, as well as the targets. Now, this is the lineup of the business for the new power systems organization. We have already integrated the thermal power generation. Therefore, going forward, we will have three pillars: nuclear power business, transmission and distribution business, as well as the renewable energy business. We will also have the energy solution, as well as others, supporting these three pillars in meeting the needs of our customers. Here, this is the business performance trends. First of all, in terms of revenue, after the thermal power business has been integrated, we'll see a decline in terms of revenue. But in 2020, we're aiming for 800 billion. As for EBIT, on the other hand, for 2013, there was a gain from the integration of the thermal business. And we have posted 152.9 billion. There will be a decline thereafter. But in 2020, we are aiming to achieve 120 billion yen. In order to drive this growth, the overseas business will have to be expanded. The service business will have to grow in a steadfast manner. The overseas ratio and the service ratio are also shown here for your reference. Market trends and the competitive environment. As for the nuclear power, the domestic market will continue to be difficult, but in the long term, we believe that significant growth can be expected. In terms of renewable energies, on the other hand, as you know very well, it will continue to expand and grow. Regarding the growth of renewable energy growth, as well as the stabilization of the grid, we believe that power system business will continue to grow, driven by these factors. Now, the third-party evaluation is shown here. Renewable energy, as well as nuclear power, or the low-carbon energies are expected to grow significantly. These are the assumptions prevailing in the market. In terms of transmission and distribution system, T&D, in the non-OECD countries, we can expect significant growth. Therefore, the low-carbon energy, as well as T&D, are expected to drive the market going forward. And therefore, this is much in alignment with the direction of the power system business. Let me talk about the vision for the new power system business. After thermal power generation has been integrated, we'd like to realign our business structure. These are some of the structural reforms to date for power systems. In 2007, we have established the Hitachi GE Nuclear Energy. And in February of this year, we have established the Mitsubishi Hitachi Power Systems, integrating our thermal power business. So we have been strengthening our foundation, partnering with other companies. In both projects, I was involved in the negotiation. Therefore, I would like to do my utmost to bring to bear synergies with the partners in terms of T&D as well as renewable energies in these growth areas. Strategic investment will have continued. We would like to harvest the fruits of these investments going forward. At the risk of repeating myself, I would like to say that for the new power system business, the business structure will be realigned. Three pillars will drive growth. That is our direction for the future. Now, I would like to talk about the current. I'm looking forward to engaging in debate with you regarding the future of power system business. Next, business policy and growth strategy. I would like to start off with the basic policy. The new power system business will implement the global growth strategy and establish a strong, high-earning business so that we can aim to become a major global player. By 2020, we will aim for 800 billion in terms of revenues. EBIT ratio of 15% will be our target. Cost structure reforms. In order to establish a strong business foundation, transformation is of utmost importance, and we would like to lead this effort within the Hitachi Group. From 2011 to 2015, the cumulative target is 53 billion yen. Also, project management will be strengthened, and visualization of data will be enabled. Cash flow management will be strengthened as a result of this. Let me now talk about the sales and marketing activities. For the overseas market, we have been dealing with inquiries. That was the basis of our sales and marketing. However, going forward, we would like to propose solutions corresponding to the needs of our customers. Specific examples are shown here. For the 1st of April this year, across the group, in order to support the solution business, a special division has been established in order to deal with the IT support. The new organization have been established to support this effort. We have established the Electric Market Power Information System Marketing Department. Now, let me go into the specifics of each business. Nuclear power business. As I mentioned earlier, in the domestic market, it is likely to be difficult for the short term. The restart and dealing with Fukushima Daiichi will be our focus, dealing with the CO2 issues. And on the back of this, we believe that the nuclear power business will continue to grow. Toward the future, overseas business will be emphasized for 2020. 280 billion revenue will be our target. Now, nuclear power business tend to be long-term projects. Therefore, human resources development is very important as well. We must make efforts in this area, as well as strengthen engineering investments in the long term will be required for this purpose. Now here, these are some of the examples of the nuclear power business. Let me just highlight the major points. Regarding restart of nuclear power plants, we have to enhance the safety measures for Fukushima. As mentioned in the newspapers, we are dealing with the highly contaminated water treatment facilities. We are making preparations currently. As for Horizon, on the other hand, from January of this year, we have moved to step 2 for the direct design assessment. We will do this thoroughly so that this project will become attractive for parties concerned. Next is Lithuania. In May, there was a presidential election, and with the election, we believe that the direction will become favorable for us. We have high expectations in that regard. Next, the transmission distribution business, T&D business. For the T&D business, component business and the system business must be grown together. and we must grow these business globally. We hope that 200 billion yen can be achieved by 2020. Let's look at components first. There is standardizations and modules will be the focus so that competitiveness can be enhanced. Furthermore, we have been focused on export from Japan in the past, but going forward, providing delivery from overseas bases or more efficient supply chain method will be employed. For the emerging markets, on the other hand, we will set up overseas bases to become local players. Let me give you a specific example. More recently, in Saudi Arabia, with a local company, we have established a joint venture, or rather, we have established a contract for this. This will be up and running in January of 2015. Next, system business. So far, we had the company called Japan Power. They were focused on components, and now it has reverted back to Hitachi. Therefore, we will restart the system business, as shown here. From the past, we have been pursuing the system business, so we will be utilizing such know-how once again. Recently, with thermal power generation as well as nuclear power generation, EPC platform and know-how have been accumulated. We will utilize this. For example, substation EPC can be pursued based on this method. Now, in the United States, we have the grid stabilization system gaining momentum. We will continue to be focused on this area. With BPA, we have joint research completed. And for US, Europe, and Asia, the business will be promoted. With a company called Demansys, we have the storage system demonstration test that is being conducted. In several hundred locations in the United States, we would like to promote this business. Moving on to renewable energy business. As you know very well, domestically, FID is the tailwind. And in terms of wind power as well as PV, it is very favorable. 150 billion will be the target for 2020. Talking about wind power generation first, we have the top share domestically today. And we have a very good position on the ground. And we will continue on this trend and increase our share. In terms of the market going forward, the offshore wind power is considered to be very promising. Therefore, 5 megawatt is being developed. We are now in the demonstration stage. We would like to bring this to the market as quickly as possible so that a share can be captured in this area. And on the same trajectory, we will also be active in the overseas market. Photovoltaic, PV. This is also an area that we are very active in. With thermal power as well as nuclear power, we have accumulated EPC knowledge. This will be brought to bear. It's not just a matter of delivering equipment, but it will include the financing as well as construction and maintenance as well. Furthermore, in terms of maintenance service, we have the string monitor, which is new technology that has been developed. This will be the focus of promoting this business. As I mentioned earlier at the outset, service is going to be very important for us. Already, the service base will be utilized to expand the business. Furthermore, as mentioned here, the high bank system which is the predictive diagnosis system, will be promoted. This is receiving high evaluations from the customers. Within the customer's premise, it can be grown into a high maintenance service. We can sell components as well as provide services. Therefore, it can be a favorable cycle for us. Next is energy solutions. This would be the last individual business that I would like to explain to you. As you know very well, the electricity market is undergoing significant change. And by the same token, the needs of the customers are being diversified as well. Against this backdrop, the distributed power system as well as ancillary services are the solutions required. We can provide the solutions as one Hitachi to meet the needs of the customers in terms of solution. For example, IT and finance can be included in this solution. Inclusive of all these services, we'd like to provide a comprehensive service to our customers. Now, let me talk about the business performance trends. This is something that I explained at the outset, so I shall not labor the point. Next, I would like to talk about the differences from the previous forecast. For 2013, in terms of revenues, the integration was delayed by 1 month. Therefore, from the previous forecast, there was an increase. EBIT, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of thermal power business integration, there was a valuation gain. So it increased significantly. For 2015, the thermal power business has been integrated, and it will be further scrutinized. And we have come up with this number here. Gross margin is flat for SG&A. Because of the integration, the business base has become smaller. Fixed cost has increased. Therefore, for fiscal 2013, there was a deterioration. However, for fiscal 2015, we would like to revert back to the original level. Now, let me summarize. So, as a new power system business, the significant knowledge and experience we have in EPC will be utilized for renewable energies as well as T&D business, as well as nuclear power business. So these will be the 3 pillars of our business, and by 2020, we would like to achieve 800 billion and double-digit in terms of EBIT margin. I would like to ask for your continued support. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Let us move on to questions and answers. On top of Nagasawa, Hiroto Uozumi, Vice President and Executive Officer, CEO of Nuclear Power Systems Company, as well as Masahiko Nomoto, General Manager of Transmission and Distribution Systems Division, Power System Company, will answer. Let's start from the question in the front. Thank you for the presentation. Question. I have 2 main questions. Page 25 and some of the earlier pages. Your profit plan in terms of EBIT is described. In terms of the operating loss, 21 billion, 44 billion, 120 billion. What would be the numbers in terms of operating losses? And in 2020, power and nuclear power business, what would be the profit and loss? My second question is as follows. ESBW, what you are doing at Hitachi GE, what is the progress being made in that business? If you could describe a little more, please. First, about profit or EBIT. So to answer that, 20 billion in EBIT in 2015. That is our plan. And For 2020, we have not disclosed the number. And in terms of the profitability, the specific breakdown is not disclosed. And so I hope you will understand that as well. Regarding nuclear power, yes, DBWO, U.S. approval is close to forthcoming, and new project in the U.S. the other day was determined. The order is secured, and work is underway already. So regarding nuclear power, well, excuse me. Dominion. I forgot the name of the company. There's a plant by Dominion. I was in the U.S. I was working on it, and we have been able to secure the order, and we are now proceeding with the preparation. If there are any supplementary comments from my colleagues, I would like to ask them. As President Nagasa said, with respect to Dominion, there are two approvals, design certificate and COM. With respect to design certificate, we're in the final leg of the process, and quite soon we are to have the approval or permit. And coal is the next process that needs to be embarked upon, and it will happen soon. So things are proceeding quite smoothly. Now, may I ask one supplemental question? So in the nuclear power business performance in 2020, ESB-EWR, manufacturing impact is also factored in here. Am I correct in understanding so? ESB-WR, the proportion in the business is quite small. So ESB-WR, whether it's included or not, it's not something that would have a large impact on the overall number. It's still small. Well, of course, some part of it is included in the engineering business, but seen from the overall point of view, it's not large at all. Understood. Thank you.
A question. No, MHI announced that with Siemens, they are going to acquire the Astron power business. Now, with MHI, you have integration of the thermal power generation business. But with regarding the MHI plan, how are you going to be involved? And in terms of the realignment of the business, inclusive of the power business, what is going to be your stance? Answer. Regarding Alstom, there had been some coverage from yesterday. However, we do understand. We have knowledge. We acknowledge this, but we think that this is a favorable development as a thermal power generation partner. MHI and Hitachi are working together, and we would like to continue our collaboration in this regard as well. Now, inclusive of various cases, various possibilities are considered. However, it is very difficult for us to respond to questions on individual projects. So I will leave it at that.
Any other questions? I see a hand in the back. Question. Regarding nuclear power business, I have a question. The first question, in the North American market, nuclear projects are starting to begin, and President Obama as part of the next generation energy source, is reviewing nuclear power. So, what is your view, or what is Hitachi's view on the nuclear power market in the U.S. with respect to nuclear power? Riva and some others, their projects are being delayed and running up losses. Because of that, their performance is deteriorating. And for safety, in order to ensure safety, construction is being prolonged and is becoming costly than originally expected. And so what's going to be the impact on your performance because of those circumstances? Or have you changed the way in which you have signed the contract? Have contract changed? Answer. First, regarding the North American nuclear power market, as I said earlier, there's Dominion's a project that is ongoing as ESP-WR project. It's important for us to make steady effort in that project. In the U.S., we need to look at the balance with the shale gas market. That is the question. And gas fire generation is going to proceed utilizing shale gas, and nuclear power generation will also happen. We need to look at the balance. Question. Have you changed your forecast as a result of that? Answer. In 2020, there could be various competing factors having impact. We have set the number 280 billion. Lithuania, for example, is somewhat delayed than the original schedule. So we have reduced the number there compared to the original budget. So we are reviewing the projects, but over the long term, the plans that we expected, have they been eliminated? No, no such thing has happened. And of course, we will continue to closely monitor the situation. And the work being done by other companies with respect to Fukushima and so forth, you're not asking about European companies. It's about Japan, I believe. And as far as Japan is concerned, power companies, they're not able to recommission their nuclear power plants, which is making their performance very difficult. And competition is becoming very harsh. And so we need to respond to the changing marketplace. In principle, in a sense, well, nuclear power has become close to an ordinary business. We need to tackle each element, each requirement. And of course, we have various negotiations on terms and conditions of the business, but we are basically to extend what we've been doing thus far. I hope I answered your question. Now, I have an additional question. The way in which contract is formulated, if there's an incident as a business practice, risk hedge may have to be increased. So has your contract changed to the extent that you can share? Answer. Well, before and after 311, have terms and conditions of the contract changed? No, I don't think we've heard any such cases. And of course, there will be changing requirements made by customers, and we need to tackle them one by one, I believe. Thank you.
Any further questions? A question. I have two questions. I'd like to ask about the Alstom case as well. Now, in the Q&A, favorable remarks were made, and it seems that it's difficult that to talk about individual projects, about gas turbines, steam turbines in the various energy areas. There are other parties to consider as well. But where can we have favorable expectations in terms of options going forward? On the part of Hitachi, how can you obtain advantage? Please give us a rough picture. Question 2. In your case, in terms of nuclear power generation, you have a partnership with GE. Players are limited. And given that, it may be obvious about Siemens as well as MHI together to participate makes sense. But that it may have an impact on the relations you have with GE. So please comment. Regarding Alstom, regarding the evaluation of this matter, on the part of MHI, various considerations are being made, and therefore, at this juncture, I shall refrain from giving any further comment. But in terms of the integration of our business with MHI, vis-a-vis GE and Siemens, we wanted to compete against them, and therefore we felt that the scale will be required. And this is the context in which you should interpret this situation. Now, with respect to our relations with GE, in February, when we had the thermal power generation business integration, we decided that we will continue to work with GE in terms of nuclear power generation. We have come to an agreement. Therefore, this remains intact and there is no change.
Any other questions? Question. Regarding power distribution business, page 15. FY 13 and 14, the overseas portion of the business is going to grow, but geography-wise or region-wise, if there's any focus in terms of any region that you have in mind, could you share that with us? And secondly, page 7 about structural reform. So you said that you signed a comprehensive agreement about technological cooperation on electric power distribution infrastructure involving Russia. What kind of progress has been made on this? And going forward, what are the business opportunities that you are envisioning? Those are the two questions that I would like to ask. Answer. Regarding power distribution business, on a global scale, this is expected to grow, especially where population is going to grow. There will inevitably be growing need for electricity. Power needs is going to be high. So, first of all, North America is one of the areas we are focusing on because of the need for grid stabilization, and China because population is growing, and Southeast Asia as well. And in Middle East, power distribution business is ongoing quite actively. So Middle East as well. These are the 4 geographic areas we are focusing on. And specifically, respectively, we are making various kinds of investments in each of the 4 areas. And with respect to Russia, business has just begun. And we would like to have solid discussions with the Russian counterpart. And I would like to turn to my colleague for further details. Nomoto. Well, answer. There are certain characteristics unique to Russia. It has a vast land, but population density is relatively low. And concentrated power sources cannot be deployed because of those characteristics. And having long transmission lines will require very large investments. So some solutions are necessary. There are concentrated power sources or long distance transmission lines. Without using them, some other solutions are necessary. Microgrid, not necessarily because it's isolated. Looser grid, which is stable. A new type of system is required. Stabilization technology, battery technology, new devices, they must be combined for a new solution, and that is what we would like to offer. And we are continuing with the discussions with the Russian counterpart on those. A follow-up question. What is the time schedule you're looking at? Answer. I think we earlier saw growth curve. We look at the current phase to 2015, 2015 to 2018, the second phase. As far as Russia is concerned, rather than doing a business in the first phase, we're looking to do something in the second phase because we would like to address the North American market first. It has natural resources, it has certain needs, and in China, long distance transmission requirement exists, and Asia is another area. And substation turnkey type construction is sought in Middle East. So in these areas, we would like to solidify our position. In parallel with that, we would like to prepare for the second phase. And then we would like to further grow in the second phase. And part of the growth will come from Russia in the second phase. Thank you very much. With that, we would like to close this session regarding the power systems business. And the next session with the automotive systems will start at 3:25. Thank you.